Hello everyone, today I'm sharing with you every single book I read in 2018. So I love doing these videos for not only like you guys knowing what I read, for me too, so I can look back and be like, oh, I read this, I rated that, stats and statistics and things like that as well. Forgive me, it's still Christmas season, so that's why my Christmas background is still set up. I hope that is okay. So before I get into all the books that I read in 2018, I do want to share with you some stats. So total books, I read 109. I know in a previous video I said 110. I thought I was gonna finish another one before 2019, but I just decided to take a week off because a lot of things are happening right now in my personal life. So 109 books read, which I think is pretty good. Breaking that down, I read 56 adult books, 50 YA books, 2 middle grade books, and 1 graphic novel. My average rating for the whole entire year was a 3.6, which I think is perfectly on par. I think I mostly rate books around 3 to 4. There's very rare where I give books 5, and very rare where I give books 2 and below. My shortest book was In Conclusion, Don't Worry About It by Lauren Graham, which was 52 pages. It was just literally a college essay type of thing, or college speech. My longest book was Kingdom of Ash, which was 992 pages, which was a hella long book. Breaking it down stats even more as far as genres. So adult books, like I said, I read 56. Out of those 56, I read 22 literary fiction books, 22 chick lit / romance novels, 10 mystery thrillers, and 1 fantasy. Breaking it down for YA, I read 28 contemporary, so it's no joke that I love contemporary YA a ton. I read 19 fantasy and 4 sci-fi / dystopian. So yeah, this is the first year ever I have read more adult books over YA books. This has never happened to me before. Usually, like in all my years of booktube, which has been a while, it's always been YA as my predominant genre read for entire years. So this is where it's really shaking up. 2018, I read more adult books than YA books. So that is just insane. I think I read the least fantasy books I've ever read ever. 19 is very low for me, but I'm happy with it. So yeah, going on now into all of the books that I read for this entire year. I'm gonna take it with you chronologically. So starting from January, ending at December, obviously. I'm gonna tell you how many books I read that month and what they are and what I rated them. That's all I'm gonna do because we will be here forever. There's a good chance I've reviewed a lot of these, so if you find a title that I've read that you're interested in, just do a quick YouTube search with that title and Bookables on it, and hopefully I have done a review on it for you, or at least it's been included in a wrap-up if you want to hear further details. I would link them all down below, but it would be like an insane description. So let's begin because there is a lot of books. In January, I read 10 books. So those 10 books were Eat Cute, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Thunderhead, which I gave a 5 out of 5. Unearthed by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner, which I gave a 3 out of 5. The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Sourdough by Robin Sloan, which I gave a 3 out of 5. The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Still Me by Jojo Moyes, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Love, Hate, and Other Filters by Samir Ahmed, which I gave a 3 out of 5. The Music Shop by Rachel Joyce, which I gave a 3 out of 5. And lastly, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, which I gave a 5 out of 5. In February, I read 8 books. The first one for that being Roomies by Christina Lauren, which I gave a 4 out of 5. We have The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guarini, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman, which I gave a 5 out of 5. American Panda by Gloria Chow, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Three Sides of a Heart, this is a YA contemporary, a whole bunch of short stories. I gave it 2 out of 5. Beautiful Broken Hearts by Cami Garcia, which I gave a 2 out of 5 as well. The Bells by Daniel Clayton, which I gave a 3 out of 5. And finally, my favorite book of the entire year, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, which I gave a 5 out of 5. Next up in March, oh my gosh, my hair is just gonna progressively get worse because I'm like sweating moving around. I read 9 books, and those were Not That I Could Tell by Jessica Strasser, which I gave a 3 out of 5. The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Ooh, how pretty. Time vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, which I gave a 4 out of 5. The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw, which I gave a 4 out of 5 as well. To Kill a Kingdom by Alexander Christo, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Surprise Me by Sophie Kinsella, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Everlist by Sarah Holland, I believe. I gave it a 2 out of 5. Young Jane Young by Gabrielle Zevin, which I gave a 4 out of 5. And Obsidio by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, which I gave a 5 out of 5. In April, I read 7 books, and those were Stay Sweet by Siobhan Vivian, which I gave a 2 out of 5. Starry Eyes, by Jen Bennett, which I gave a 4 out of 5. You'll Miss Me When I'm I'm Gone by Rachel Lynn Solomon, which I also gave a 4 out of 5. The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, which I gave a 5 out of 5. Queen of Hearts by Kimberly Martin, which I gave a 3 out of 5. The Woman in the Window by A.G. Finn, which I gave a 2 out of 5. And lastly, Circe by Madeline Miller, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Moving into, I'm sorry, this is just a disaster because it's hard to grab books with this tree right here. Moving into May, I read 11 books. So those were Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren, which I gave a 4 out of 5. The Story Life of A.J. Fickery, which by Gabrielle's Heaven, which I gave a 3 out of 5. 9 Days and 9 Nights by Katie Cadugna, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Love and Luck by Jenna Evans Welch, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli, which I gave a 3 out of 5. The Last Miss Parish by Liv Constantine, which I gave a 2 out of 5. A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. I do own it, it's just hard to reach, so I gave it a 3 out of 5. Always Never Yours by Emily Wibberley and Osman C. Broca, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Little Do We Know by Tamar Arlen Stone, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Lastly, I finished a series, and that is Beartown by Frederick Bachman, which I gave a 5 out of 5. And the sequel, Us Against You by Frederick Bachman, which I gave a 4 out of 5. In June, I read 10 books. The Kiss Quotin' by Helen Kwan, 5 out of 5. 10 out of 5. Oh my gosh, my mind. Save the Date by Morgan Matson, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Listen to Your Heart by Casey West, which I gave a 4 out of 5. From Twinkle with Love by Sinan Menon, which I gave a 3 out of 5. You're Reborn by Claire Legrand, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi, which I gave a 4 out of 5. How to Walk Away by Catherine Center, which I gave a 3 out of 5. My Oxford Year by Julia Whelan, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Ash Princess by Lauren Sebastian, which I gave a 3 out of 5. And lastly, A Reaper at the Gates by Saba Tahir, which I gave a 5 out of 5. We're gonna make things easier now because this is just, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a lot of work. So hopefully from now on out, I'm just gonna put pictures up of all that I read, because I'm not kidding when I say I have like 80 books in front of me. Like, it's insanity. So I hope that is okay. I hope you can forgive me for that. It's just, it's a lot. So in July, I read 9 books. Those were The Death of Mrs. Westerby by Ruth Ware, which I gave a 3 out of 5. The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Lido by Libby Page, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Something in the Water by Catherine Stedman, which I gave a 2 out of 5. Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna, which I gave a 4 out of 5. The Way You Make Me Feel by Maureen Gu, which I gave a 3 out of 5. My Plain Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, which I gave a 3 out of 5. And Three Witches by Leanne Moriarty, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Moving into August, I read 14 books. Oh my gosh. In conclusion, Don't Worry About It by Lauren Graham, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Proposal by Jasmine Guarini, which I gave a 3 out of 5. And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Bachman, which I gave a 5 out of 5. The Deal of a Lifetime by Frederick Bachman, which I gave a 3 out of 5. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Annie Barrows, I believe, I gave a 3 out of 5. Good Luck With That by Kristen Higgins, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Nevermore by Jessica Townsend, which I gave a 4 out of 5. The Simple Wild by Kay Tucker, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Ghosted by Rosie Walsh, which I gave a 3 out of 5. The Dinner List by Rebecca Searle. I do own them, like I said, I just looked at it, but I forgot who it was by. I gave it 4 out of 5. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, the first Taylor Jenkins Reid book ever for me, 5 out of 5. Fight or Flight by Samantha Young, I gave 3 out of 5. Heart of Thorns by Brie Barton, which I gave a 3 out of 5. And lastly, in August, I read My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Bachman, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Moving into September, we have 10 more books. Your Destination Is on the Left by, I forgot who, 3 out of 5. Dark Rains by Kadara Blake, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Fire by Natalie C. Parker, which I gave a 4 out of 5. After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I gave a 5 out of 5. Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren, which I gave a maybe 5 out of 5. The Geography of Lost Things by Jessica Brody, which I gave a 4 out of 5. One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I gave a 5 out of 5. Pride by E.B. Zaboy, which I gave a 4 out of 5. An Unwanted Guest by Sherry LaPena, which I gave a 3 out of 5. And lastly, Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Moving into October, I read 8 books. And Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter, which I gave a 4 out of 5. City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab, which I gave a 2 out of 5. Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessel, which I gave a 4 out of 5. You by Carolyn Kepnes, which I gave a 4 out of 5. The graphic novel, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina by Robert something, I gave 3 out of 5. Watching You by Lisa Joel, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Sadie by Courtney Summers, which I gave a 4 out of 5. And lastly, in October, The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten Noir, which I gave a 3 out of 5. November, I only read 5 books, and those were Until the Last Star Fades by Jacqueline Middleton, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand, which I gave a 5 out of 5. Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas, which I gave a 5 out of 5. Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Lastly, in November, 9 Perfect Strangers by Leanne Moriarty, which I gave a 4 out of 5. December, the last month of the year, I read 8 books, I think. Yes, The Christmas Sisters by Sarah Morgan, I gave a 3 out of 5. One Day in December by Josie Silver, I gave a 4 out of 5. To Know and Love, which is by Casey West, Nick Stone, and Melissa de la Cruz, I gave a 3 out of 5. 7 Days of Us by Francesca Hornick, I gave 2 out of 5. Dashing Through the Snow by Debbie McComber, I gave a 2 out of 5. Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid, a 5 out of 5. My Favorite Half Night Stand by Christina Lauren, I gave a 4 out of 5. And the last book I read this entire year in 2018 was First and Then by Emma Mills, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Sorry for the last half I did not hold up the books. It just got to be too much for me. I was on a time crunch because my husband's watching my son and I have just books everywhere and I just had to do that. So I hope that is okay. Rest assured I do own most of them. It's finding them and I would have to really just blah. Either way, those were all the books that I read in 2018. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing them and just hearing my ratings for them. Like I said, if you're interested of any of them and what I thought of them, please type the name of the book and put Bookables in the search bar and hopefully I have reviewed it for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video and it wasn't too of a chaotic mess, which it probably was, but life. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed again and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.